IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All-Natural Being. Warning, All-Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good evening. Welcome. And thank you for stopping by the 297th episode of the number one rated show here on IPMNation.com. You're into All Natural Being, the gong, as you just heard, around the world. Broadcast as it happens here on IPMNation.com, and now multicast live on Facebook, YouTube, over at allnaturalbeing.com, and the new Brian Brawdy app. But however you come to hang with us, we're always live from the Outpost in Columbus, Ohio. Technically, because I haven't learned how to take this show on the road. With rebroadcasts on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Greetings wherever you are here in the Garden of the Mortals. What a gig, winning or whining. It's up to you and me, because life, it's our labyrinth, our shot at running the table, diving the rabbit hole as we see fit. The hell with your critics. What do they know? Your wild at the core is ready for pay dirt. Once you just say, this is my primal scream. That's why we're always putting your heart's highest priority top of the list, reinstalling and reinstating the true wit and wisdom of your inner whisper. We're rebooting your robust, finding your ferocious, all in time to out-brutal the brutal that is the cut and shuffle that fate deals you on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold once and for all. But before we hit it this evening, hello to my friends here in the United States, in Canada, Mexico, the UK, in Ecuador, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt, Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Peru, Poland, to those joining us from all over the globe. It really is great to have you with us. And I truly am fired up tonight to be driving your bandwagon, to be your virtual hitchhiker if you're out and about and on the go, wherever, to be your biggest fan, to be avidly you. But before we jump into tonight's show, let me ask you, why would we let anyone hijack our cognition, play us like a sock puppet? The days of needlessly torturing ourselves by being someone else's tool, they're over. It's time to take life into your own hands. What are we waiting for already? Here's our opportunity to mortal up. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. And I have to tell you, to read on the teleprompter, the 297th episode, I would be lying to you if I didn't say I'm getting a little more excited every time I think about coming up on Sunday, because we're going to be, well, our 24-hour, our shakedown cruise for the 81 to win, the world record attempt later this fall. It's coming up this Sunday, and it's wild. There's a bunch of people that I want to thank for already signing up to be guests, to be spotters on our show. We've got some really cool things. Let me see. A female, a drill instructor, a dental hygienist, professional, she's great, an Emmy Award-winning news producer, just the list goes on, stand-up comedian, a professional copywriter, that's just like top shelf. We've got all kinds of cool people from all over the spectrum, all different parts of the labyrinth that will be joining us throughout the 24 hours. And I want to thank them all here in a little bit once we get into it. But I just have to tell you, I'm a little excited about this because I clearly have no idea what I'm doing. Someone said to me today, well, who's doing this for you? Well, I am. Well, how are you going to do this? Yeah, I got to learn that between now and then. Well, how will you, right? How's this going to happen? Great question. Don't know. Well, what's this knob for? You know what? I was thinking the same thing myself just the other day. What's that knob for? No clue. Right? And then I realized that coming up on the 300th episode, and I'm kind of giddy, to be honest with you, right? 9 times out of 9, right? 10 times out of 10, if something goes wrong, it's because I just don't know what I'm doing. Someone said, oh, the volume was down. My fault. Oh, well, this happened. Oh, well, I could have done that. Or that happened. Well, I forgot to do this. I've come on and gone on, forgot to turn the microphone on, forgot to turn the camera on, forgot what I was going to say, right? All of it. So to date, that if you've been following me here at All Natural Being and you go, wow, that show is just, he seems, pretty, at times high energy kind of guy, but the production value of that show is just, it needs some help. I remember not too long ago, I got a text here in the feed where someone said, oh, a DBX 286S, which is a voice cleaner upper, right? That's all I'm saying. So like, great, I'll do that. But there is so much, and I think that's what's kind of cool. Maybe you'll find it cool for yourself as well. But when you do something that you have absolutely just no idea what you're doing, right? Like I came up with this idea of being a radio show host because a local radio station wouldn't return my calls or my emails when it came to volunteering to learn how to use a soundboard. So I said, I'll fix their wagon. Well, I'll just go for the world's record for the longest call-in radio show. I need help. I'm telling you. I say all the time, you can't spell insane without the I in Brian, or you can't spell Brian without the I in insane, but you get where I'm going. All right, let me hop in the thread and say hello to some people. Henry, Noel, good evening, brother. Thank you for joining us. Patricia, thank you so much for joining us here at All Natural Being. And I want to say that Henry and Patricia were 2 of the very first to jump in and go, oh, no, we're in. We're going to be a part of this. And I cannot wait. Patricia's going to be like an official night owl with me. We're going to do a late night thing. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about aliens or whatever else. We'll find a cool way of doing it. Mike, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Mike Warren, always a pleasure to see your icon pop up. Candace, how are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us, and hello to you as well. Jamie is watching. I hope Jamie gets a chance to call in so we can spend a little bit of time on the phone through this marathon. Shane is watching. Shane, I keep pulling for you. 2020, it's just around the corner. Good evening and welcome to you. And Wayne, I cannot say enough about Wayne. If at any time during this show you look at it and you go, oh, that was pretty smart. That was pretty astute. Give Wayne the credit. Believe me, the credit wasn't mine, right? Wayne will go, hey, did you ever think of doing this? No, I hadn't. Well, maybe you should. And I go, oh, that's a great idea. So if you're seeing something and you go, oh, wow, that Bri, that's some high-end production quality there. It has nothing to do with me and everything to do with Wayne. So Wayne, thank you very much. I appreciate all of your help. John is here this evening. John, I'm waiting to get a time for you as well, booked in for our 24-hour marathon. I'll have to see what fits best into your schedule. Candace, if I didn't say hello already, Candace, hello. And Rita, thank you so very much for watching us here at All Natural Being. Chris is here as well. Chris Nichols Holbert, thank you so very much. Lee is here. Lee, thank you so very much. And again, you see the cool clocks here. And then when we go to the Go Be You official portion of our studio, the 81 hours, that's just to try to talk some sense into me. But you should know Lee and the good folks at Sales Copy Academy are the official time sponsors of both our 24-hour event, right, coming up here, as I said, this weekend, and also the 81-hour. And I leave the 81 up. Brett McCall is watching. Brett, nice to see you, brother. Brett, and I would love it, Brett, if you could call in. Brett's a big wig, but we go way, way back, so I'm hoping Brett can squeeze in some time and maybe give me a call during the marathon. Really sharp guy, knows what he's doing. I would love to catch up with him and hear about how he is. I started to say that the good folks at Sales Copy Academy are busy sponsoring the time, right? So that we know exactly what the official time is. And then I wanted to mention that Lee will also be calling in from vacation right at the halfway point, just to make sure that we're still honest on time and doing it all the right way. So I'm really excited about that as well. Chris, hello. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. So here's what I'd like to talk about tonight, if at all possible, if I missed anyone in the thread, I apologize. Oh, Mike Warren will be joining us from BioPro Plus. He's in on the list. So let me just do this real quick. As I said, we've got some really cool people. Stephen from tryh2.com. Dana, stand-up comedian, really funny. She's going to be here. Lee is going to be here. As I said, Patricia, Matt Connerton from IPMNation.com. Excuse me, he'll be here. Mike Warren from BioProPlus.com will be here. Misty will be here. My brother John will be with us as well. Oh, my good old dear friend Sue, an Emmy Award-winning news producer. She'll be here, and that's just some of the people. But I've got plenty of space left on the list if you'd like to. And we have about another dozen names of people that have reached out. I didn't get a chance to add them to it before we went to air tonight, but I will be including them as well. But here's the other thing that I'd like to talk about briefly, and then we're going to get into tonight's show. And tonight's show is just do something that you're absolutely certain that you can't, right? Look at me, 24 hours. I'd be lucky if I can stay. I'm putting like a bar stool back in here. They say one of the things that you should do is wear uncomfortable shoes. Well, I mean, I'm wearing flip-flops. I don't know if that counts as uncomfortable, but don't sit in a comfy chair so that you nod off. There's all kinds of different things. We posted the rules up the other day on Facebook, so I'm still learning, and I mean that to say, if there's any ideas, any suggestions, things that you think, oh, wow, I'd love to hear about this, or I'd love to learn about that, because yes, the people that I've invited to come on our show and hang out for that 24 hours are all friends of mine, or really great acquaintances of mine, or people that I just really super respect, but they also have a great message for humanity as a whole. And by that I mean they have a great message for anyone that stands against the watering down of human wherewithal. They have a great message about thinking on your feet. They have a great message about how to avoid binge thinking, if you will. So we're going to populate the show with pacers, if you will. And these are people that are always focused on giving back to humanity, always focused on trying to find the best ways to live here in the Garden of the Mortals. So my goal at the end of the 24 hours, let's go ahead and we'll take a quick call. And then I'll talk to you about what the goal is or what I'll be doing. Hello, good evening. Who is this?
Hey, kiddo. How are you?
I'm doing great, Henry. How are you?
Doing good.
Well, let me say this. Again, Wayne says here, Henry, do you have the link or do you need me to send it to you?
I think I got it.
I think that may have been a private text that just made it into the wrong thread. I don't know. But let me say this, and now that Wayne's here and everyone's listening, especially the folks that contacted Henry last night going, oh, the volume wasn't all that great. And yeah, user error, blame me, my fault, totally. So Henry was gracious enough to work with me today to figure out how to dial in his phone signal so that we shouldn't have to worry about audio anymore. But again, user error, my fault, so please blame me. And Henry, it's great to have you this evening because you had such a great response over on YouTube. And is it okay for everyone here in the thread if I'm just busy for a minute being Brian? Henry, do you mind?
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Henry's like, yeah, I called you. Why don't I just cut the front yard? Just ramble on any way you want to, jackass. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm very excited about showing you this, and thanks to Wayne, I worked really hard. And for the people listening, they're going to go, yeah, he really is a dope. That something, right, in terms of a technical challenge, shouldn't have been a challenge, but it was an uphill battle for me until Wayne called. Then it wasn't an uphill battle. But you ready, Henry? You ready for the drum roll? You ready what I've been excited to show you and everyone else all day long?
You got it.
You sure? Standing up, sitting down, however you take good news?
I think I better sit down.
Yeah, I think you better sit down too. Okay. No, well, I stay fully clothed, right? It's not like that. It's not like that. But here's the thing. Here's what and you're going to be our maiden voyage. You're going to be the first person that we do this to. But thanks to modern technology and some of the science used on the space shuttle, we're able, you ready, Henry? You watching your screen? Okay. We're going to be able to do this.
I'm ready.
Ta-da! So, when you're on this evening doing the interview, we're talking about transitional radio, thinking reimagined over on YouTube.
Wow.
Yes, thank you. All kudos go to Wayne.
Oh, man.
Right? Isn't that so? So they're like, Brian, really? You really are that much of an imbecile? Yes, I am. I clearly am. But to me, this was so cool. And I've sat on this for like 4 hours now going, so what'd you do? Oh, you learned how to run a laptop to a TV, put a camera on the TV, put that feed up to Wirecast. But yes, that's what I learned. So tonight, Henry, as we get ready to talk about transitional radio over on YouTube, this is what we'll be doing for the 24 hours. So I know people are thinking, why would I call in and put up with that nut, right? But for the hour, we'll put up their logo. They can talk about if there's a brand, if there's something that they're passionate about, if there's something that they just want to kick around. That's what we're going to do. So there's, oh, you know what? And I could have hit a drum roll, right? Hold on. Let me see. Do I know this? Yeah, that's what I should have done, right? I should have hit the drum roll before I did. But that's what we're going to be doing, Henry, is we're going to have the logos, and people are going, oh, there's got to be something else for me to do here on Facebook, right? Everyone's looking going, you got to be kidding me. But that's what I was looking forward to. So please save me from myself. That's what I was looking forward to sharing with you, is that you'll be the first, but everyone that comes on through the 24 hours, I won't have to go, www. Right? I'll be able to put their web address right up on screen, right? Yeah. And with little,
crazy, man.
I know, with little, if any, technical know-how. You'd think, oh, Brian, how did you prepare that powerful-looking PowerPoint slide? I don't have a clue, right? I just load the camera onto the television onto the camera, that on the Wirecast. So there we go. So that was my big surprise, Henry, and I know, right? I got to get out more often. John says, give out water guns to everyone in the studio to squirt you if you get drowsy. Oh, well, you know what, Henry? John raises a valid point. Probably not squirting, because I'd end up electrocuting myself. But silly string is a great idea. If Kelly's listening, maybe she can stop on by with a can of silly string. Shane says, nice. Congrats to you both. Thank you, Shane, very much. Shane's got to be going, Henry, you got to find higher caliber people to hang out with, for God's sakes. Rita says, love it. Thank you, Rita, very much. And Rita says, just love it. So that's good. So thank you, Rita, very much. But that's what we hope to be able to do. So I say this in hopes that people will go, oh, well, if you think that's cool, did you ever think about doing this or doing that? No. Chances are pretty good. If it's brilliant, it never came to me. So I would love anyone to get here in the thread, like silly string. That's a great idea, right?
Yeah.
Silly string's a great idea. Don't you think, Henry?
That would absolutely work. I think that would be great.
I think it would be good.
I was sitting down going to call in and just say, hey, you didn't put me in the slot there. I got to get a time slot. And I'm wondering if I dialed the right number here. Wait a minute.
No, okay, hold on. Well, now that I have you in front of a live studio audience, so I have you down for 17 of the 24 open time slots. So be prepared to do a lot of talking. No, here's the thing. I wanted, because Transitional Radio is one of the official sponsors, you should be, well, I think you should at least be noon on Sunday, right? You should be right near the top. If you want to commit to like noon to 1, that's a good one. Sure. 1 to 2. Oh, noon to 1? Okay, I'll put you here. Let me write this in here. So good. I'll put you in. There you go. Thank you very much. And then, of course, I'll be calling you to make sure you fill in like an early morning one, Monday morning. Whenever you wake up, like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. But that's good. All right, I've got you in. So if there's anyone else, Jamie says, keep the air at meat locker temperatures. Yeah, but you know what, Jamie? If I did that, I'd only get hungry. I'd be running around looking for some half-frozen steakums or something like that I want to eat. But that's a good idea. Keep it nice and cool in here. I'm hoping we hear from Jamie as well throughout the show. So, Henry, thank you very much. You're down from noon to 1 on our kickoff Sunday, so thank you very much. But, yes.
My pleasure.
That's the big news tonight. And what we were talking about, other than my absolute need to seek professional help, what we were talking about is doing something that you're absolutely no good at. Doing something that you're afraid of, doing something that you're not really certain of the outcome. And you have to be honest, Henry. You've been with me in terms of doing this and learning, right, what's going on in terms of radio. This has been a huge learning curve for me, which I'm still in the middle of, right? Every day we learn a whole laundry list of things that I don't know about this. But I have to tell you, I'm having the time of my life not knowing, but still trying to gut through it, still trying to work through it. So, you know, you're a medical professional. What the hell is wrong with me? I know it's only an hour-long show, right? But I know it's...
Wow, what page do you want me to...
Just go, flip through. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. You know, like the Mahabharata or War and Peace would be good. You know, just flip through some of that. What is wrong with me? That I'm enjoying trying something that I absolutely have no business doing.
Oh, if there's anybody that has business trying to do this, it's you. Are you kidding me?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I could use a dozen Waynes. You know what I mean? Because I'm just behind the technical 8-ball.
No, you know, you're the only guy I know that loves hurdles so much you actually build them for yourself. It's really great.
Is there like if you go in the physician's desk record, is there something? Is that, you know? Is there an ailment that I have that just compels me? I just can't ever do it. Even Ashley said, you know, you just can't ever just do something. You have to really do it. But that's got to be a character flaw, I would think. I don't know.
No, I think it's great. You know, you're talking about things, you know, doing things that you're just simply not good at or uncomfortable with. Well, I'll tell you what, this is way outside my comfort zone. I'll tell you that much. So I understand. You know, this is not my cup of tea. I mean, it's just not what I naturally do, and
sure.
not my natural affinity for. So it's getting out and doing things that you're not comfortable doing, or
sure.
that you have been skeptical about doing, find a bit of fear in doing it. Man,
sure.
Go out and do it, because it's so long as it's legal, and just
right.
go and have a ball with it, because you can run as far as you want to go. It's all your thing. I love this.
Shane says there's nothing wrong with you guys. You're living your life on your own terms, the best way to do it. I would agree with that. At least you're never bored. Yes, you could say that, Shane. Right? But if you could see the number of screw-ups where all I have to do, Henry, is like flick a switch and I go, oh, yeah, the mute button, that would have been a cool thing to know. Right? Or this, you should have seen when the clocks came, when Sales Copy Academy and Lee sent the clocks. And I was like, the instructions, they're written in like a half foreign language, half English, and you have to try to discern it. And that was, you know, just to be able to get 24 and 81 and have the clock counting down, that was an exercise of me just going, come on, Brian, really? You can't figure this out? So I guess what I'd like to talk to tonight, Henry, and because we also have, you had a really great launch on YouTube yesterday in terms of the first in the 3-part series that we talked about. I think it was Faith and Dreams, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight you're going to launch the second part of that over on Transitional Radio. In case anyone at home has forgotten, Transitional Radio is now on YouTube. How do you know that? Because you looked at the excellent graphic, right?
That's right.
So I don't have to go www.youtube.com/Transitional Radio. It comes right up in the graphic. All right, brother. So 2 things. I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about this sense. I told you last week that my wife has a shopping bag, and it's one of those reusable bags, right? So that you're not always using plastic and the like. And it's got printing on the side, and it says one of the things, it's got all these different quotes, and one of the things says, do something every day that scares you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to tell you, a lot of this technical stuff, as you know, it isn't something that I'm very proficient in, right? It isn't something that I necessarily learned about before I started in. But I have to tell you, there's something about that whole do something that scares you every day, because I'm in over my head, but I'm having the time of my life. I could start right now, Henry. If someone said, okay, the 24 hours starts now, my first thought would have been, yeah, I should have went to the bathroom before I said yes to this. My second thought would be, come on, bring it. Right? Let's just do it. So there's something to getting yourself to do something outside of the comfort zone that is really a challenge to you. Yeah. That's the first thing I'd like to talk about.
It really is. No, you're right, because how many times does it take? It takes somebody to actually be pushed beyond their comfort zone in order to actually go and try and do something. When you're backed into a corner, you have no choice. You're on the spot, and now you have to go do something. And you don't get hurt. I mean, you have a lot of fun. You laugh at yourself. You get laughed at, and nobody gets hurt by it, and it encourages somebody else to take a shot at it. So, really, that's what we really need to do. Coming from someone who was very shy as a kid, that's what it takes. It takes getting outside that comfort zone and trying something foolish. The greatest thing in the world was karaoke. You want to try something really fun? is karaoke.
I never thought of that.
But just getting out and doing something that you wouldn't normally do, and find out you really didn't get hurt by it.
Right. And you know what? When people ask me all the time, why do you like spending your time out in the middle of nowhere? Right? I've kayaked the Everglades. I've snowshoed Yellowstone in the coldest temperatures in the winter. I've hiked Death Valley in the warmest temperatures in the summer, down the Badwater Basin. I've tracked wolves in Denali, grizzly bears, mountain lions, and this and that. And I have to tell you, Henry, the reason that I do that is I love not being the top of the food chain. Mm-hmm. Right? And like I say here in Columbus, about the only shot that I have of not being top of the food chain would be to cover myself in maple syrup, handcuff myself to a tree, and maybe a coyote would come up and give me a hard time, try to pick a fight with me or something. But some of the coolest places that I've traveled to, what I've always enjoyed is the uncertainty of it, not being the top of the food chain, knowing that at any particular moment I could be confronted with something that who knows if I could handle it or not. And that's what this 24-hour marathon is like for me, brother. It's I'm not really sure, right? Got a brace, as you know, a snorkel, right? That can't surprise anybody. Someone said the other day you should have Home Depot sponsor you because you have a garden hose sticking out of the top of your head, right? So for me, it's doing something. But here's the thing: there's nothing that unique about me. There's nothing all that special about me. And for everyone listening, I really think there's something to this. If you do something every day that terrifies you, something that scares you, I just think that might be the way to live.
Absolutely. In fact, we got to get you down there so we can canoe up the Amazon.
Yeah.
It would be just fun.
Let me say hello to Jamie real quick. Also, Joe is on. Thank you so very much for joining us. Jamie says, laugh out loud, Henry. I was just thinking that. I would like to hear Brian sing Country Roads.
Oh, go for it. I love
yeah,
it.
Right. Well, I should tell everyone, in the interest of full disclosure, this morning I was talking to Henry, and while he put me on hold, I'm still able to talk. I'm on hold. He's doing something else. So I did my Ethel Merman sings "Oh Silent Night" impersonation. So I don't think I have the voice left today, Jamie, but maybe I will. I'll tell you what, Jamie, you tune in, you call in during the 24 hours. You better make it early, right? And then you and I will sing Country Roads together. How would that be? How is that for an enticement?
Oh, man, that would be fabulous.
Joe says, hello, all driving home. Had to listen. Well, Joe, thank you very much. I love being a virtual hitchhiker. I say that all the time, Joe, where, put me in the glove, not in the glove box, but, the little coffee cup holder in the car, throw me on the dash, put it wherever it is. I love riding shotgun when you're out running around. So thank you, Joe, so very much for tuning in to All Natural Being. All right, Henry, before it gets away from me, talk to me about segment 2, which is going to launch over on YouTube tonight. You'll put the link up here in the feed, I'm hoping. So tell us a little bit about part 2.
Part 2. It really takes the faith and dreams idea and concept and subject matter, and we get into the real what's behind and what's pushing the broadcasting and advertising business, and really getting into it and how it's being played and what it's being focused at. and really what we're dealing with and why we actually are in the situation that we're in at this point. And then we also added in a good look at ourselves and whether or not we have the faith and dreams in us also. And a lot of us think we do, but when you go through this, you might just open your eyes and see a little bit more. But that's what we cover in part two is the advertising agencies, news agencies, media companies, and ourselves. So yesterday we put up the government,
Mm-hmm.
and tonight is the advertising agencies and usins.
Usins, I like that. Being from West Virginia, in certain parts of it, they called them yins. Anyone listening here still use that yins? It means like you all, or usins, yins. What are yins doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are yins doing tonight? Okay, so I have to do this, Henry, if I could interrupt for just a second.
Please.
Here's a Prayer Bowl thing. Jamie has agreed to come on from 2 to 3. She says shooting for 2 to 3 a.m. It's a deal. Jamie will call in and hang out during the 24-hour marathon, and she and I together will sing Country Roads. I sure hope she's talking about the John. Yeah, I sure hope she's talking about the John Denver song. I think I know the words to that, but I'll look it up on Google or Jeeves or whatever it is. I'll look it up on the search engine and ensure that I'm able to do it. But Jamie, I wrote your name down. You're in the book. Thank you so very much. 2 to 3. That's a hard time slot to fill. I'm guessing. This is new to me, Henry, but I'm guessing 2 to 3 in the morning is a hard time slot to fill. So, Jamie, thank you so very much. You are in the book. Henry, what do you think?
Oh, thank you, Jamie. I think that's going to be fabulous, and we'll have to have anybody, and wake up everybody. We'll have to send wake-up calls to everybody just to listen to this thing. I would think it would be great.
So let me see. John says, look into delive.io and steamit.com. Just another way to get the message out there. Thank you very much, John. I will for sure. Candace says, I'm graveyard shift 2. So Candace is going to do a graveyard shift. Candace, thank you very much. We're excited to have you. Thank you so much. And you know, Henry, because I don't know a lot about this, I can imagine that 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 in the morning, the sun could be up for all I know now, right? There's no windows here. But I'm imagining that's going to be kind of a tough time. So to have Jamie to say, oh, let's sing Country Roads, and then to have Candace go, look, I'm a graveyard shift too. Here we go. We're starting to fill it in.
Oh, that's wonderful. And as I said, you find out what's not filled and let me know, and I'll keep you company. You know that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Rita says, oh, you have time to practice. Yes, I do. I think it starts off Almost Heaven, West Virginia. Doesn't it? Yeah, Almost Heaven, West Virginia. I think I have a little bit of it, right? So I'm ready for it. I'm ready, Jamie, but I will practice up between now and then. All right, Henry, so let's return to what you're talking about. When we're talking about what you're launching over on YouTube, give us like a little bit of a thumbnail, right? Yesterday's post was so well received. What else are you thinking about?
I really want to cover a lot of what we deal with. One of the ones I'm working on now is simply belief, and what the difference is between having faith and believing. And I've gone through, and you look at the definitions of them, and it's very interesting to see that the word faith is used in defining belief, and the word belief is used in the definition for faith. And it doesn't have to be in a religious connotation, although those words are used very much in the religious connotations. But it's simply faith in yourself, faith in your fellow people, faith in your whatever else, as well as belief. And the more I look at them, the more I'm starting to get looking at a definition that really is that these are almost polar opposites. Faith and belief don't really define the same thing. They are totally diametrically opposed, and so I'm trying to go through and put it all together to kind of explain that and show that to people on what it all is, and part of it is dealing with belief from a mind that is healthy, and belief from a mind that is victimized, a victimized
Sure.
mind, a victim's mind.
Sure.
Because I believe that we really come from two different places. One literally blaming God for everything, blaming everybody else for everything, and the other one is wishing that God would do and everybody else would do for you. So it's a very interesting concept, but I'm working on that belief. I'm working on grief, how to get people to get through the grief and get out of it, let it go. The guilt one we did.
Sure.
We're looking at really doing a big expose on ego, trying to really lasso it down to trying to come up with as many examples of how it is ego that really runs our lives, and we don't even realize it.
Sure.
And if we did realize it, we don't know how to handle it and how to slow it down and how to get control of it. So I'm trying to come up with it'll be a real long one, probably a very multi-part thing on ego. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about, and believe me, please, anybody, you've got ideas on what things that maybe you have wrestled with in your life. You just send me an email, and I will certainly dig in and take a whack at it. Let's put it that way. I have no problem trying to come up and deal with all of the issues that people have.
So we're talking a little bit about ego then as an invasive species, and then most certainly it's almost like ego is malware if it's outstayed its welcome, right? If it exercises more control than is naturally intended. We're talking about malware, right? We're talking about a Trojan horse type of software that gets in and just hijacks you from putting your heart's highest priority top of the list. Is that a fair assessment?
I think it's a very fair assessment, and I think part of the learning that we have gone through in our lives, we literally have a back door like they do into software. They build a back door in to get into the software, and then they can change and modify the software. Well, I think that's exactly what ego does. It gets us going in a direction, but it's built a back door so it can always get in and manipulate us in whichever direction it wants us to go, and make us think it's all us, that it's our idea. It's a very conniving commodity. Let's put it that way.
Okay. And then you'll be talking about that, and you're going to launch it tonight right after you've put the link up here in the thread, but it will be over. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I almost was going to hum Hail to the Chief. Dun, da-da-dun-da-da-da. But there's the logo. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks to the Cracker Jack technical team here in Columbus, Ohio. No, not at all. Yeah, thanks to Wayne. I can tell you that right now, where he was just like, no, I can help you with that. So thank you very much, Wayne. Super appreciate it. Also, how about letting go, Patricia says. When is it time to say enough is enough? Goodbye. I'm with you, Patricia.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my gosh. That is the hardest thing. It seems like we get so entrenched in the grief or so entrenched in the guilt or we get so entrenched in the depression or the despondency that we identify it with it so well, we don't know that we can actually just let it go, and walk away from it. You learn from it. To me, I'll liken it as we were kids, and you reach your hand into the fire, and you kind of get a little burnt, and okay, maybe some of us were a little slow, so we do it a second time. but to keep putting, I wasn't talking about me though. I mean, of course, and then. And then, but some of us just like putting our hands in the fire, and we just don't seem to learn from it at all. And that we become, it becomes us. We seem to think that this is the suffering we have to do. It's almost unbelievable. And suffering is going to be another big one that we're going to write up there. Grief and suffering and all of these negative things that we wrap around ourselves so much and so well. That this is the stuff that we really have to start stripping away from ourselves and start getting away from it if we ever want to find out what makes us happy.
Sure, it's like evil saran wrap.
Yeah.
Evil tinfoil. We just wrap ourselves in, but then we can't breathe anymore. Let me say hello quick to Jennifer. Jennifer Booza, thank you for joining us. Patricia says, we wallow in it, Henry, because it's what we know. All right, so there's a certain creature comfort there. Maybe we wallow in it. Even though it's negative, it's still negativity we know. What's the saying, Henry? Better the devil you know than the devil you don't?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, look, when children are striving for attention, do they really care whether it's positive or negative attention? They would just want the attention.
I think you're right.
When we wallow in all of this stuff, we don't care if it's positive wallowing or negative. We don't care if we're wallowing in a swimming pool or we're wallowing in a pile of self-made garbage. We're wallowing, and that's what seems to we for some reason can't seem to figure out why are we doing this, and it is so convoluted and so intertwined that it's such a it is such a doldrum that we
Sure.
get ourselves into, and you get down so deep you don't see any light at all, and that's the part I'm trying to get people to stop doing to themselves. Just quit it out.
Henry John says he just subscribed to Transitional Radio on YouTube. So I'm going to share the prayer bowl with you this evening. So it's not
Thank
just if you share it, just for you. And also, Joe raises a great question. Is it letting go or is it surrender? That's an interesting way of I think it sounds like flip sides of the same coin, but he asks, is it let go or surrender?
Wow. Letting go, you have control over it. And I think depending on the intention in the surrender, you can either have control because you intentionally are doing this, or the other side of it is not having the intention to surrender, and you're just giving up. And again, I think that's when we leave the door open for ego to come right back in and slam us. So I think it really is. I think if we let go, we are in control in letting go. It's our conscious effort to give up this ghost and not do this anymore. And I think the surrender part of it, if our intention is to literally give up it under our control, then yes, I think that's absolutely the perfect way to look at it. It's the other side of that surrender where we just kind of give up.
Sure.
Then we've not dealt with it. We've just we haven't dealt with it. We've just agreed to let it be there.
So in other words, it's the difference between between saying uncle when you're surrendering.
Yes.
And the difference of going, you know what, it's not going to touch me anymore, so just bring it. Bring it, bring it, because it's not going to have that effect on you. Shane says, putting your foot down. Thank you. Did I not just say that? Shane says, putting your foot down mentally and saying enough. Absolutely enough. Like Patricia says, enough, right? I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. When will it be enough? Great answer, Shane. Henry, what else are you thinking about that? I thought that was a great question by Joe, and he says, "Well said, Henry. A great definition.
Thank you, Joe.
A great definition. Also, when you said is a difference between, letting go, which you're in the driver's seat, and surrender, when you're basically the crash test dummy, and the airbag's going off in your face."
That's it.
Yep.
Exactly right. And so that's it. And really, it's knowing us, knowing yourself. It's knowing what your limits are. I mean, we all like to test it. We all like to push as far as we can. We run amok down there in trying to understand the craziness within our own lives and the craziness within this world, and having a solid handle on you. That is the key. Is we can handle anything as humans, and I totally believe that we can do anything. Well, maybe except pick yourself up by the collar and the seat of your pants and throw yourself out the door. I mean, that might be the toughest thing we can do. But I think we really can do anything. And I totally believe that. It's just that we have to know we can and stop quitting. Stop thinking we can't. Whether you can or you can't, you're right.
Sure, absolutely. So putting yourself in a position to be able to make that decision. And instead of being victimized, you decide by letting go, you're the victor. Mm-hmm. If you surrender, you're the victim. So then I guess it comes down to Joe's question. It's a brilliant question. It really comes down, do you want to be a victor or do you want to be a victim? Because ultimately it's up to you, right, Henry? You decide in that particular moment in all of time. I said I wanted to get some cans of spray paint to use as a prop here in the studio. If you let someone come in and you're sitting in your driveway and someone comes up and spray paints your new car, you're not going to sit there and let them do that. But yet you'll let people come up with their opinions of you and spray paint your gray matter, right? Put graffiti all over the inside of your mind, and then you'll buy into that. You'll fall for that. And I think that's maybe that's what, when Joe's talking about, that's the surrender. You go, it needed a paint job anyways. I might as well just let them put graffiti all over me. Or whether you stand up and go, well, look, you and this paint can are going to be about to be introduced to each other. right? You just go, I'm just not going to stand here and tolerate that anymore. I think that's the difference that Joe's talking about. Jamie says, it's cathartic to remove toxic people from my life without malice. No mic drop. I love it, Jamie. Just out of my life, right? Just out of my life. By letting go, we become the observer. That allows us to learn. Oh, I'm sorry. I put the two together. Jamie says, toxic people in my life, no mic drop, just out of my life. Joe says, by letting go, we become the observer. That allows us to learn and to grow. I love both of those comments, actually. Oh, and you know what, Henry? Speaking of loving both of those comments, I owe John an apology because, I have this small little phone and I'm trying to do all these different things. So last week, I think it was in the show, John made a comment and I thought I hit the like button, but I hit like an angry face button. And John later said, oh, well, somebody put an angry face and it was me. Well, I'm the guy that put the angry face. So I apologize, John. It was me. I went ahead as soon as I figured out how to change one of those emoji things, which is another challenge for me. I've just learned how to put a heart up. I thought all you could put up was a thumbs up. I didn't know. But I was the culprit, John, so I apologize. No one was giving you a hard time, most certainly me. So thank you for always posting everything. John says, FLL, no worries. So that was me. All right, Henry, we got to get ready to run, but I know you're going to launch over here in the next couple of minutes, and you'll post it on your Facebook page, yes? And then also over on YouTube. So you can be like John if you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet to Transitional Radio. Head on. Oh, hold on. I don't know if I mentioned this. Here's a graphic. Transitional Radio, Thinking Reimagined. Over on YouTube, you can check it out, subscribe, and Henry's going to put up the second of a 3-part series that's going to go up tonight as soon as we let him go and start doing all that. So, Henry, thank you so very much, as always, for calling into the show, and thank you for all the insight, as your tagline says over on YouTube, Thinking Reimagined. And I would say that the people that get a chance to listen to you, they're always reimagining their own position about the different thoughts that you bring up. So thank you very much for always bringing your A game here to All Natural Being.
My pleasure, Brian, and thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. And please subscribe. It's going to be a very eye-opening thing, and believe me, we all know people that could really benefit from this stuff. So please have them tune in to hear and have them go in and read what they would like, listen to what they would like, and if they really want to read it, all of this stuff is actually going to end up on my website also under my thoughts, and so it'll all be there. So,
and you know what else?
If I could
mention, Henry, that you're always up for people asking questions, which is what I dig about what your work is. You're like, oh, I didn't think about that, or oh, let me expand on that, or so it's more than just a passive listening. When they come to Transitional Radio and they post their comments in the feed, or they want to ask you a question, you're always really great. Jamie says, thank you, Henry, with 2 hearts. Again, another emoji. I'm just learning how to do 1 heart, but now I guess people can give 2 hearts. So maybe, Jamie, you could teach me how to do that before 2 a.m. Next Monday morning. But I always love that about you, is that you give people the ability to offer different points of view, and then you don't either A or B, up or down, right? It's not like you're arguing or you're debating people with the point. You find different ways of dovetailing it to see if you both can find common ground. So it's a lot more than just passive listening, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's a lot more than just sitting back and listening over Transitional Radio. It really does allow you to reimagine your thinking. And I think you're doing a great service. So thank you very much, as I said, for always bringing your top shelf A game when you come to All Natural Being.
Well, thank you, Brian. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
You got it.
All right, everyone. Don't forget, head on over to YouTube, Transitional Radio. And I know that Henry's going to post a link right here. Thank you, Jamie, very much. Henry's going to post a link right here in the feed to make it really easy to do just that. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I want to thank the good folks at IPMNation.com. I want to thank Matt. I want to most certainly thank Jenny. I got into this almost 300 episodes now. I don't want to get all worked up about it, but I get into this almost 300 episodes now. Before the brain tumor, right? Before my insanity, before it had a built-in excuse, right, of a brain tumor and all the surgeries and all the aftermath. But it was Thank you, Lee, very much. Lee says he's subscribed as well, Henry, just so you know. Thank you, Lee. But it was Jenny that called one day and said, hey, have you ever thought about doing a radio show? So as I approach episode 300, I'm remembering of that first conversation long before I even knew of the brain tumor. Jenny took a shot at me, introduced me to Matt, so I will be forever grateful for that. So thank you all very much. Thank you to the good folks at tryh2.com. Thank you to Mike Warren at BioPro Plus. Also, Sales Copy Academy and Lee, thank you so very much for keeping us honest with the time clocks. I'll say good evening to David before we get ready to go. David, thank you so very much for joining us at the tail end here of All Natural Being. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Bring your own bold. Our little attempt at jump-starting your brain before you head out in the door in the mornings, right? Just to help get your head on straight if it isn't there already, called Bring Your Own Bold. We do that at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook and also over on YouTube. And then we'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern for, what is it going to be tomorrow? It's like the 200 and, I think, what did I say it was? The 290 something or other? I don't know what it is. It's 290 something tomorrow night. Getting ready for the 300th episode. Cheers to you as well, David. Thank you very much, brother, for the 300th episode that'll kick off on September 2nd at 10 a.m. Thank you all so very much for listening. Thank you for supporting the show as you always do. And it's a pleasure to be thinking about spending a full 24 hours with you here before too long. So have an absolutely fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
IPMNation.com.